Everybody knows that new drivers are bad drivers. Statistically, it's proven that your first year as a driver is your worst. And you know, it doesn't matter whether you're 17, 27, or 37. That first year is, sadly, too literally, often a killer. But when you combine inexperience and youth, well, that's a real double whammy. Hi, my name is Jim Kenzie, and we're here to talk about graduated licensing and how you can get yourself through this process. What is graduated licensing? Well, it's a process whereby many jurisdictions have introduced the responsibilities of driving to new drivers in a staged manner. You get your first level of licensing. In Ontario, it's called the G1, and you can only drive under certain restricted circumstances, which you all know very well. After a certain period of time, you can take a second test and get to the G2 level, and this is where most of you are now. And then you've got the G2 exit test, where you become a full licensed driver. Now, the point of all this, again, is to stage the responsibilities. As you get more mature, your responsibilities get greater. Hopefully, you can handle them. Statistically, it's been proven to work. And what we're going to do here is not teach you how to drive. Hopefully, you already know that. But we realized that most of you haven't had any driver training for 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 years. That's a long time to go without some refresher courses. Now, I'm an automotive journalist. I travel all over the world driving new cars, and I've either given or taken an advanced driver training program at least one a year for maybe 20 or 25 years. I've never failed to learn something every single time. So it's important that you keep yourself refreshed. Now, I've got a couple of assistants here come along to help us out. We've got Matt White. He's going to ride our motorcycle for us.
Glad to be here, Jim.
And Jody White. He's going to be driving our car through these various scenarios.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. And we're going to start with Jody as he takes his Honda Accord through some intersection scenarios.
While approaching an intersection that requires stopping, check traffic in front and behind. Slow down smoothly at a steady rate and keep a 2 to 3 second gap to any vehicle in front. If there is a vehicle in front, stop with a gap big enough to drive around the vehicle if necessary. While stopped, monitor the rearview mirror for traffic behind and all around for pedestrians. When the light turns green, check left, center, and right before entering the intersection. Use both hands on the steering wheel while crossing, and check the mirrors after resuming traffic speed. On approaching an intersection with green light, check the mirrors for traffic behind. Before entering the intersection, look left, center, and right for traffic and pedestrians posing a risk. If cross traffic presents a risk, slow down or cover the brake. Keep a 2 to 3 second gap to any vehicle in front. After clearing the intersection, check the mirrors for traffic behind. While approaching the intersection in the appropriate lane, in this case, the leftmost lane, check traffic in front and the rearview mirror before braking. Signal left and slow down smoothly, keeping a 2 to 3 second gap to any vehicle in front. If there is a vehicle in front waiting to make the turn, leave a car length in space and monitor the rearview mirror. While waiting, keep the front wheel straight and check the traffic lights, the traffic ahead, to the rear via the mirrors, and the crosswalk to your left for pedestrians. When it is safe to turn, use both hands on the wheel and look where you want to go. Turn at a steady speed, and once on the new road, check the mirrors and the new traffic situation and accelerate to traffic speed. While approaching the intersection in the appropriate lane, in this case the curb lane, check traffic in front and behind before braking. Signal right and slow down smoothly, keeping a 2 to 3 second gap to any vehicle in front. Before entering the intersection, scan left, center, and right, and try to make eye contact with any pedestrians that pose a problem. Blind spot right, and with both hands on the wheel, look where you want to go, turning at a steady speed. Once on the new road, check the mirrors and the new traffic situation and accelerate to traffic speed. If the curb lane is blocked or restricted, turn into the next available lane. Check the rearview mirror and accelerate to the traffic speed.
What are the things you got to be watching for?
Well, Jim, you want to make sure that you know what's going on behind you, to the left, and to the right of the intersection before you actually get into the intersection.
Seems to make sense. Now, one thing I noticed you mentioned about keeping the wheels straight when you're ready to turn left. What's that all about?
Well, that's very important, actually. That way, if you need to escape due to something happening behind you, you can go straight ahead without having to turn the wheel. And in the worst case scenario, if you do happen to get hit, you won't be pushed into the oncoming traffic. You'll just be pushed straight ahead.
Well, it's interesting you mention that because that brings up the whole concept of risk management. And this is a phrase by which we mean an opportunity to position yourself in such a way that bad things won't happen to you. And we've got a perfect example coming up now on the video.
At large intersections with offset medians, use the S approach to increase visibility. Enter the intersection as little as possible by turning left, then right, and line up with the wheel straight, opposite the other turning lane. Now it is possible to see traffic that is coming through the intersection. This position makes turning left much less stressful.
Well, less stress and more safety. It's pretty hard to beat that. And it's a good example of the sort of small technical details that separate the good driver from the average driver. It's not rocket science. It's just training. Speaking of training, you got to learn how to do a parallel parking maneuver now.
Parallel parking really isn't a problem on a motorcycle because you can pull right into the parking spot.
Well, you've got other issues to deal with on motorcycles, and we'll deal with them later. But right now, let's take a look at the video on how to handle that parallel park.
When approaching the parking space, check the rearview mirror for traffic behind. Since this maneuver involves stopping in traffic and reversing, make sure there is sufficient room to do it safely. Check the mirrors and blind spots for other vehicles or cyclists that might pose a hazard. Hold off on signaling until the vehicle has passed any side streets or driveways. This way, it will be clear to other drivers that you are not turning off the road. After activating the turn signal, brake smoothly, checking the rearview mirror and the road ahead. Stop alongside the vehicle you plan to park behind, with a minimum of 60 centimeters of space between the vehicles. Lining up the side view mirrors of both vehicles is an easy way to get into the correct position. Check your mirrors and blind spots, making sure that traffic is clear or that surrounding drivers understand your intentions. Look over your right shoulder and steer towards the rear corner of the parking space. When the vehicle is halfway into the space, steer to the left in order to straighten out and bring the car in line with the curb. Make the final adjustment by pulling forward slightly to center the vehicle in the parking space and straighten the wheels. To secure the vehicle, engage the emergency brake and put the transmission into park. To leave the parking space, disengage the emergency brake and put the transmission into drive. Signal to the left and check the side view mirror and blind spot before allowing the vehicle to move. Once it's safe, pull smoothly into the flow of traffic, accelerating enough so that you are not a hindrance to traffic behind.
Okay, Jody, any other secrets on parallel parking that you can share with us?
If you're doing it in traffic, there's going to be pressure on you to get it done quickly. So my advice is do it right the first time, concentrate on the task, ignore everything else, and that way you'll be fine.
Maybe practice with pylons before you practice with your mom's car.
Yeah, good
Probably
idea.
not a bad idea. Now we're going to talk about how you get on that highway, getting up to speed.
As soon as the expressway entrance ramp begins to curve, maintain speed and look up around the curve to keep centered. If there is other traffic on the ramp, keep a minimum of 2 to 3 second gap to the vehicle ahead. When the ramp straightens out, accelerate briskly to the speed of the expressway traffic. Once the expressway drivers can see your approach, activate the turn signals. Check traffic behind, to the side, and in front with the mirrors and blind spot checks. Merge smoothly into the center of the expressway lane and cancel your signal and check your gap to the rear and front. Look well ahead 12 to 15 seconds down the road for any potential hazards and obstructions. Avoid exceeding the speed limit or driving at an unreasonable low rate of speed. Maintain a 2 to 3 second gap in front, and if being tailgated, increase that gap or change lanes. Try to avoid driving in other drivers' blind spots and keep space on both sides. If larger vehicles block your vision ahead, change lanes. To exit the expressway, position yourself next to the exit lane. Check to the right, the mirrors, and if necessary, the blind spot. Signal right well before the exit. Maintain speed and smoothly enter the exit lane where it begins. Begin braking at a steady rate when fully centered in the exit lane and maintain a 2 to 3 second gap to any traffic in front. Check the rearview mirror while slowing down to a speed suitable for the curve ahead.
Okay, Jody, sum up getting on that highway for us.
Well, you want to make sure you use the entire acceleration lane so you can get right up to highway speed and merge smoothly in with the rest of the traffic.
It's called an acceleration lane, not a braking lane, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of braking.
Same thing with exiting the highway. Obviously, keep your speed, maintain your speed on the highway, and don't slow down until you actually make the lane change into the deceleration lane. Then get on the brakes and slow down for the curve.
Makes sense. And I also noticed in there where you avoided the big truck on the highway, it's like keeping a bubble around you, buoy in a bubble, right? If there's always space between you and your car and everything else, by definition, you're not going to hit anything. Speaking of hitting things, I've always wanted to clobber those left lane bandits. Let's go back to the video.